Okay, starting a stream. And because I do this from the kitchen, the exhaust fan's on. But that's a thing we can deal with, I'm sure. So stir me a drink. The ice clinking ASMR. Hey, Safa, how you doing? How's the weather been today? You seem to be always getting much more severe rain than we do here. It's probably been a little bit of rain today. Maybe some tonight. I don't know. Sausages. I had chicken. I marinated in chicken, and then crumbed it and pan fried it. Hey, Greg, how you doing? Actually, I'm going to look. What's the rain look like tonight? Looks like most of the rain has passed us. There we go. What does the Bureau predict? Probably no rain tomorrow. Probably no rain on Thursday, but maybe. Probably no rain on Friday. Up to, what are we up to? Getting into the 20s at the end of the week. And then probably rain coming back on Saturday. And then cooling down again on Sunday. Weird friggin' weather we're having. Safa, no, I haven't. And yes, state election Saturday night. We'll be doing a live stream. Who knows what's going to happen? The media have been hyping up for weeks. Oh, it's going to be close. It's closer than you think. I have no friggin' idea what's going to happen. It still seems to me the idea of the LNP winning is a ridiculous long shot, but it's not impossible. So we'll see, basically. Interesting question, Dr. Abigail. It's a valid way to ask questions. My God, this is a boozy drink. I am actually definitely going to dilute this one with water. This is the barrel-aged cocktail I decanted the other night. And so I didn't refrigerate it, and I put it on ice. So it's melted a bit of the ice, and so that's chilled and diluted it a little. Ooh, has that gone funny?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I used that yesterday. Oh. That's very weird. Sorry, we've just had a kitchen thing with milk going goopy. Weird. Oh. Dr. Abigail, I have also seen some fairly pathetic ALP advertising saying the Liberal Party is trying to get more Greens elected, and that's a bad thing. They're a political party. Of course they're garbage. Suffy, just specifically going for red drinks on Saturday night? Is that like the Labour colour things? I mean, I guess that's a thing I could do. Themed drinks. I tell you what, if it goes badly, if the 100-to-1 shot of the Liberal Party winning, I'm not staying on. I'll just be depressed. I'm not going to stay on a stream and be drunk and depressed. It's the thing I always pledge. I'm not going to be one of those people who, when an election doesn't go the way you think it's going to go, the way you want to go, I'm not going to be one of those people who lies and goes, "Oh, you think I'm upset? I'm actually better off with this. It was just a dumb thing for other people to do," and that's a thing I see lefty or supposed lefty commentators say semi-regularly. I will just be honest. If the LNP win the election, I'll be really depressed, and the right wingers get to laugh at me because I think an equally likely outcome, in as much as I think not likely, but equally likely of the LNP winning, is them getting really humiliatingly defeated, as in Labor actually takes seats away from them. I don't think that will happen, but it could. Yeah. So, yeah, I think those are the two extremely unlikely extremes are the LNP winning and Labor actually crushing them. I don't think either is likely. Both are possible. As I've been saying for ages, the most likely outcome, Labor returned to government with a reduced majority. Abigail, anti-anxiety meds. I'm glad they work, because that's the whole thing with meds for mental health. It can be a bit hit or miss. Stuff that works for one person doesn't necessarily work as well for another person, or stuff that works for you one time doesn't necessarily work as well another time. So, big win there, and I'm into celebrating the wins. What are you voting in next March, Safa? I'm not even keeping track of things. I don't know what that is. Oh. Oh. So, what I should look up? How much water gets added when you stir a cock? Because I know clever people have actually done the science. And that actually led to dilution for batch cocktails, which is the exact thing I want. You've probably heard a figure of around 25 to 30% water as the amount of dilution to factor into pre-batched. Some may prefer to add 40 to 45% to stirred and spirit-forward drinks. Oof. So given the strength of this, that's like suggesting I should put it between two balls. Fuck off. I tell you what, you know how people always say, if I have a time machine, I'd go back and kill baby Hitler. If I had a time machine and a gun, I'd have words. I would go back to the people who invented pop-up ads on websites. And I don't know, just put the barrel of my gun on their kneecap and say, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And yes, you stop one person, someone else will come up with it. But I've got a time machine. Each time they do it, I can go back and find them. And the thing they've started doing with websites recently, when you move your mouse, if you move your mouse up to the what do you call it? Address bar. You move your mouse to the top of the window, a thing pops over like, "Don't leave, do this." That one's getting a paddling too. And Safa, okay, you want another one to add to it, Safa? First, ad blockers don't work for that, not universally. Second, an increasing number of websites are refusing to load at all if they detect your browser has an ad blocker. So, but again, add them to the list of people I'm going to pay a visit. I just want to talk. So according to this, I should split this very strong batch cocktail into 2 bottles. And like, say if I was, wow, it's suggesting quite like if I split it between 2 750 ml bottles, basically want to put like 500 mils in each bottle and then top it up with water. It's a lot of water. And I could keep it in the fridge and be nice and cold. I guess I might do that because this is a really fucking strong. The flavors are really nice, but just the sort of alcohol kick is really strong. And no, Safa, I haven't been looking at Black Friday deals yet. The only thing I might get, as I've said before, noise cancelling headphones or earbuds. Hey, Justin, how you doing? And keen-eyed viewers might have noted I didn't start this stream doing a short video as I have been for most streams this month. I'm ahead by quite a bit in my video making, and I'm just choosing to not do it tonight. Rest assured, I'm probably doing it on Thursday night and Friday night. Do you want to taste this? There you go. It's my barrel-aged cocktail. Aren't those flavors fantastic?
Oh, you can really taste the barrel age.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and because I kept a bit that's not barrel aged, and I compared it the other night, and the non-barrel aged one is very nice, but the barrel wood smoke is coming out in that, and it tastes sweeter. It somehow brought the sweetness out, which again is possibly because all the other stuff I've had in the barrel is cocktails, and some of the sugar from the other cocktails could have soaked into the wood.
Yeah.
But it is super nice. I'm looking at guidelines. I probably should be adding water to it because it's very strong. Nice, tiny bottles for your tiny liquor cabinet. What'd you get? Napoleon. Is that brandy? Brandy's a nice thing to have. So, Safi, you got... Yeah, I actually saw in mid-year sales some markdown quite a lot. And I was pretty close to getting them, and I didn't. I might do. French brandy, yeah, I thought so. I think do I have the Napoleon? I've had it in the past. But yeah, brandy is a nice thing to have. Kyle on Facebook. Hello, how you doing? Yes. It's kind of funny, like people say, how do I start a bar? And it goes, well, it depends what you want to drink. And I mean, I'm one of the ones who, my initial thought when someone says, how do I start a bar? I talk about the big mainstream spirits, but it's going to depend which ones you like. You need to think about whiskey, gin, brandy, rum, tequila, which ones you like. But you really got to think about modifiers. What you're going to, if you're going to do cocktails, what you're going to do with it. Carl, getting a blood test. You ran into a vampire? No? Do you have blood? Was that the test? I don't know. Are you with Medibank? I can probably look up the results of your test on the dark web if you're with Medibank. Justin, yeah, it is extremely fortunate given the widespread nature of COVID that the overwhelming majority of cases are very mild. Yeah, mine was no worse than a mild cold. But, there's the whole thing about, there's only a 1% chance of dying. Well, if you understand numbers at all, when you're facing that, that's a serious thing to face. Oh, Kyle wants to chat. Okay. God, you're going to make it difficult for me. I've got to, because the way StreamYard's been acting with Facebook, I'm just going to open Facebook. And put the thing in there. There's the thing in there. Yes, I know you're very fond of saying hello, Kyle, and I'm always happy to say hello to you on the stream. Yeah, so it doesn't look like they're going to widespread recommendations for a 5th jab until next year, but who knows? I don't understand the question, Justin. What's my COVID rule? Isolation requirements every dot. Anyone who doesn't self-isolate when they have COVID is a fucking shithead. Kyle!
I'm very in agreement of that.
Anyone who doesn't isolate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have just been feeling very shitty over the last couple of days. So on Monday, I checked myself into a doctor to get a blood test to see what the hell's going on with my body.
Yeah, fair call.
And I knew it wasn't COVID because I had 2 rat tests and a PCR, and I actually had another PCR test at the
okay.
So I know it's definitely not COVID.
Okay. Justin, how long would I isolate for? You isolate for 5 days or until you no longer have symptoms, whichever is the longest. If you go 5 days with no big symptoms, that's fine. But if after 5 days you've still got obvious symptoms, don't fucking go out in public until you've been symptom free for at least a day or 2.
It honestly feels like the rules are just constantly changing.
They are. And it's ever since New South Wales fucked it for all of us by not doing a proper lockdown, which just went, that's it, COVID's everywhere now, fuck you. Yeah. It's all the decisions have been political rather than medical. Yes. At that point, the pollies just went, okay, lost cause. All the decisions have been political rather than medical since then.
Oh yeah.
But say la vie. But yes, I reckon the rules, depending, particularly partly from what happens here over summer, COVID tends to be a bit more subdued in summer. But also, if shit goes squirrely in the northern hemisphere in their winter, that may well result in yet another change to the rules in the new year. And hello, Megalich, how you doing? So what are you doing besides having blood extracted from your body?
I'm filming a film in 3 weeks, so I'm honestly trying to get everything together.
Yeah, the Aspie.
The Aspie one! I'm so excited.
I bet. I'm very excited for you. It's very good.
We're going to try and take it to a ton of different festivals. So
good.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll be down in Melbourne. Yeah, hopefully next year, which would be nice. Late next year.
Yes. So what's is it a short film or
it's a short? Yeah, no, it's a short.
And the full name of it is
Party with the Aspie.
That's it. I forgot the full name.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Yeah. Just waiting for you to get cancelled for saying Aspie, since everyone found out that Asperger was a Nazi.
No, honestly, dude, you have no fucking idea. As a crew, we have been talking about that for so long, and so we've been trying to work out if somebody does bring it up in a festival like Q&A, is
Yeah.
basically how I'd answer that, and basically I just say it. Well, it's my experiences that I was called an Aspie. I think what that the long form of that, and the person that is coined the name of that, he's a fucking prick. But I have to understand this is our own experiences, and yeah, doctor, yeah,
living the life.
but also there's a really interesting like we've started really like a lot of our discussions around the title as well, and we have actually a lot of the discussions really have been around the idea of, does somebody feel that they are disabled enough to call themselves autistic?
Mm.
So it is becoming a quite interesting discussion.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I feel like we've sort of like, within 5 years, I feel like we've sort of started this really interesting discussion. But I'm just like, well, when I was writing the concept, you know, the feeling was that that some people just didn't really, some people like didn't feel like some people just didn't feel like they were disabled enough to call themselves autistic.
And I'm with you on, you know, it's a conversation essentially, and it's not static. Anyone who wants to stomp their little foot and say, I have carved into stone, this is the rules, no one's going to agree with them in 2 years.
Totally.
It is a fluid conversation, and it's a question of taking ownership and all those sorts of things. But yes, because yes, a lot of people did adopt the Aspie label because it's like, I feel like it's different now. A lot of people refer to just being on the spectrum, and because like
also,
a whole lot
cool,
of things,
it's just a cool name for a title for a film.
It is. I like it as a name.
I like it. It's a name. Yeah. It's a great name. But I think I just hope that people don't just look at me and go like, oh, this guy's adopting autistic culture, or like he's not autistic. Guys, I'm as autistic as they come. So I'm just letting you guys know. But also we've got so many people working on our film from all different parts of the community. And we've got, and I just like, this is the first time that I can say that this film is written and produced by an autistic person with a main autistic lead and somebody who is neurodiverse, actually shooting the film as well. Yeah.
It just reminded me, I follow Chuck Tingle on the social media platforms, and he had a post that was probably on both. I saw it on Facebook. He's basically, and I can't really talk in Chuck Tingle's voice, but he's basically saying like, oh yeah, people have been saying to me they think that I'm maybe pretending to be autistic, and that's not cool. I think his summary was, true buckaroos don't gatekeep. And it's just not everyone is the same, and trying to force perspectives onto people is not the way of the true buckaroo. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's but yeah, and again, you know, is anyone who's either in a marginalized group or on the progressive side of politics. Actually, there's a cliche that it's the left that does this. You see right wingers doing this all the time. Just it's essentially the no true Scotsman fallacy. It's just like people doing purity tests on each other. Like, oh, no, you don't reach my benchmark of purity for this, so therefore, you know, you're a traitor or whatever. And it's just like, Or you could calm the fuck down. There you go. It's KSB hangout time. It's the fam. The fam is all hanging out. Oh
That's
dear.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's been a really interesting like to hear people because I've been talking to lots of people about the film and a lot of people have just read the script and gone, I can't wait to see this.
It's
Like,
very
it's-
exciting to get that sort of feedback from people.
No, I remember reading the script in like one of our final days in screenwriting class, and we read the script out, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to see this!" And this was during the time that we crowdfunded the series, the short film, and it's just really exciting because like we're now like making it. We're making it in 3 weeks. We've just casting like the last roles now. We're doing all the final negotiations for all of the locations and stuff. It's all happening.
Nice. And I'm sure you have heaps of spare time. You should be doing your treatment for the series version if ABC or Netflix want to pick it up for a series. So
That's something we're going to talk about early next year. So once the short's done and is in the can, then part of that will be about, how can we keep developing that as the series?
Yeah.
Because I think we've already had discussions about it being the series, and there's quite, and I think it's just about sitting down again and sort of building those discussions again to say, hey, these are, this is the story that's being developed.
Nice.
And I think we could go into a lot more detail around all these characters.
Nice. Dr. Abigail turning song. If you're gay and on the spectrum, clap your hands.
I'm not your monkey.
Maddie on Twitch, how are you doing? Oh dear.
I've got the Nicole Kidman hands.
Is that what that is?
Didn't you see that at the Oscars where she was like with Keith Urban and she was clapping and it wasn't like this sort of clap, it was like this. Because the way it was shot was like looked like it shot near her hands and her hands looked uncomfortably big and she was doing this. And I went, what is that?
I specifically remember that. Oh dear. So there you go. We're all dispersed. Kyle Sydney, Justin Canberra, Dr. Abigail Melbourne. Although, East Coast, East Coast represent.
We're all like East Coast queers. Except for Angry, who is
depressingly cishet guy.
Yeah. He's an ally.
Well, as in, I attempt to not be a dickhead. So, we're just that's like my benchmark. Like for so many things, like people say how to be an ally to this group, that group, or even with straight guys going, "Oh, how do I date successfully?" You go, well, rule one's don't be a dickhead. And people think I'm joking when I say that. And go, no. Do you know you're ahead of 90% of the crowd if your mantra is don't be a dickhead? Because 90% of people are dickheads. And
100%.
Well, I guess we're all dickheads to some extent. That's actually true, if we're going to be completely honest. Yeah.
That's quite funny. I was curious what you thought of Alex Antic, the senator from fuck knows where he is, from South Australia, when he held up a photo of Courtney Act, being like, this is grooming children. And I went, oh my God.
Yeah, no, that again, the best summary of that is that I was going to say American. He's North American. I think he might actually be Canadian. Cory Doctorow, a writer who I quite like. He writes fiction and he writes nonfiction and he works in technology and digital rights and whatnot. He does really good little essays and he often sort of breaks them up into threads on Twitter as well as publish them in whole pieces. But he had one that was basically... I think the heading was, I know you are, what am I? And he's just highlighting how virtually every accusation from right-wingers is a confession. And it's like the thing they say is bad and someone else is doing, they are repeatedly found to actually be doing. And I know Courtney Acts sort of clapped back at that guy, going, "Stop, being a creep and sexualizing me, you freak. I'm literally just existing as a person,
Yeah.
and you're insisting on making
Well, it's just using
the fact of my
tropes.
existence sexual."
It's using this idea that drag culture is in set. It's the idea that drag queens are the most versatile people. And do you think drag queens just have one look that they're gonna come with to come and talk to kids? They understand that it's the same thing. It's like, if God forbid somebody goes to a Halloween party and then that whole thing becomes their whole fucking brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of the American weirdos had been obsessively saying, after the Republicans did so much more poorly in the midterm elections than they expected to, he started with this thing of, "I'll tell you what, if fathers took their sons to Hooters when they're little boys, the Republicans would have won." And he's got this obsessive thing where he is obsessively sexualizing children, and he's going like, children have to be exposed to but heterosexual sexual imagery, and he's calling other people groomers, and it's like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you insisting on kids have to go to Hooters? It's fucking weird. And yes, Dr. Abigail, look, maybe, but I don't know that anyone can resist.
But also, Taika Waititi's a dick.
I am very hesitant to judge anyone in the public eye because the way they're represented by media is.
Oh no, I've actually seen stuff that he said. This isn't like media stuff. It's the stuff he said himself in a video.
Well, like what in particular?
The VFX stuff.
I don't know what you mean.
Basically, he was talking about the stuff with Thor: Love and Thunder, and he was just with Tessa Thompson. They both were like, "Oh, look at how bad the VFX looks in our own film," and it was just kind of like, this was all happening in the backdrop of like everyone just Marvel, like the work is being destroyed because of all the Marvel films and the amount of VFX that were being done on every specific Marvel film. And everyone just looked at him and went, "Don't be a dick. These are hardworking people."
I'm absolutely unfamiliar with that, so I can't really judge. But yeah, as they say, opinions are like assholes.
And to what Miriam Margolyes says, everyone's got one.
Yeah, I like trying to come up with alternatives to that. Like, opinions are like assholes. Some stink more than others. Opinions are like assholes. I don't want yours anywhere near me. I'm always trying to come up with alternative. The default one is everyone has one. Yeah. Oh God, Justin, your dad took your brother to Hooters after he came out to mess with him. I was like, I don't know. You could just appreciate the food. Are there still Hooters in Australia? I know there used to be. I actually went to one. It was like in Strathfield or something in Sydney in the fucking 90s. I have no idea if there are any still existing in Australia. Now I'm going to look it up. We're on the internet. I'm going to look it up.
Oh my God! I thought of another variation for it for the
yes.
Oh my God! Hang on, it's at the tip of my tongue. I'm just trying to work it out. Oh, I don't think it's gonna work. Oh no, I think I forgot. Oh, hang on.
All right. I think while you're thinking of that, I think there's one Hooters in Australia, and it's in Parramatta.
No, it's not anymore.
Well, that's what their website says.
Is
Oh,
it?
wait. Sorry. The website has an ad for the 2017 calendar. So maybe they've just not updated. Oh, no, that says you can get them from Menulog.
I don't think so.
Well, on
Unless
the American way, why not? Hoot Club. Join the Hoot Club. Oh no, wait a sec. Okay, no, here's Hooters Australia. Visit us, Penrith, Parramatta, Campbelltown, Gold Coast. So there are apparently 4. Okay, this is what I find weird. There's 4 Hooters in all of Australia, and 3 of them are a very short distance away from each other in the western suburbs of Sydney.
And I would just like to say on that 2 of them have closed.
Maybe, like I said, they maybe just never update their website. Oh dear, that's a whole thing, isn't it?
Hang on. Oh, wait.
There's a mob in Melbourne tried to have a sort of pub night called Schnitz and Tits. I don't know if the waitresses were actually topless or were just wearing something skimpy, because I never went.
Yeah, so the one in Penrith and Campbelltown have both closed down.
Well, there you go. Well, that seems like they never update their website then. So
it looks like the one in Parramatta is not listed anymore.
All right. This is the weird thing. Like, there's this little thing that refers to those 4 venues, but then there's a thing on the website that says locations, and the only thing that comes up is Parramatta. So their website is not very trustworthy.
Jesus Christ.
And like I said, on the front page of their website, they're advertising a 2017 calendar. So
I would also like to say that their Facebook page doesn't exist, and their Twitter hasn't been updated since 2019.
Yeah, so I don't think they exist.
No.
Right. Okay. The mystery of Hooters remains a mystery to us. But
and would you believe it? The only one that exists when you turn on the contact us form is Parramatta.
Yeah. And so the website's very inconsistent.
Yes.
So basically.
Oh, and the girl that's on the main page of the website.
Yeah.
Is from Florida.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about America on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. But it's also like they're referring that you can get delivery. But actually, okay. If I'm actually going to go. More locations. Now I don't know why I'm looking at this. No Hooters found. Oh dear. No Hooters found. So their website's just never been updated, and there are. I think we can say. I don't know how long we've spent exploring the concept of Hooters, but I think we can probably say there are no Hooters in Australia. Abigail,
I think that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good. Yeah.
Abigail would like to go to Hooters for the food. Yes, the food. Well, that's the thing, Dr. Abigail. There's the
I'd like, you know what? I'd like to go for the breasts, the chicken breast, that is.
And the thighs, the chicken
Yeah.
thighs. Also to ogle women in tight clothes. But, that's just me. Greg, you went to one in Vegas? I don't think I've been to one in the US. It's a long time since I've been in the US. Trouble remembering. I did get taken to a strip club in Vegas, and not one of the upmarket ones near the strip. It was sort of in a seedy suburb and whatnot. That was a fun experience in a more than slightly dodgy strip club in Vegas that a local took me to.
You going to a sketchy place.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're just not surprised? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just not surprised.
Yeah. My excuse was it's a local. And okay, I think I've told this story before, but I still find it funny. So I was there with my ex. She had cousins in Vegas. And so she had both male and female cousins, and her female cousin had a boyfriend, supposedly fiance. They never ended up getting married. But anyway, and she's doing the whole sex positive thing, like, oh yeah, Bri will take you out to local clubs. So went out with a couple local lads, and she's doing the whole sex positive thing. And so we went there, and strippers, and came back, and then suddenly this girlfriend, she was not so much sex positive, and she's very angsty about what her boyfriend actually did there. And at one point she said something like, I'm going to make him brush his teeth in case he kissed one of them hoes. And I said, you don't have to worry about that. They don't kiss. That's against the rules. And she goes, no. I said, mind you, you might not want to put your hand on his knee till he changes his pants. That's all I'm saying.
Oh. Oh.
But no, that was real. Okay. So, Justin stayed at the Hooters Hotel in Vegas. Most family-friendly hotel in town. I saw Fatboy Slim perform in Vegas at the... Was it? The place was either branded Hard Rock or branded with Rolling Stone magazine. It was probably Hard Rock. It's probably a Hard Rock hotel. A long time ago, I don't remember. But yes, I actually got to see Fatboy Slim do a live set. Yeah, DJ set. Yeah, good. Sorry, Heine, you've been doing one-shot brandy, one-shot coffee. Nice. Probably what more traditional, because mulled brandy's a thing you often put in warm drinks, the mulled drinks. I know, hey, very soon we'll be in December and the supermarkets will be selling eggnog. I'll be getting eggnog and having my brandy and eggnog, living my Homer Simpson life. We only get 30 sweet noggy days till the government takes it away from us.
Dude, over Christmas, it's going to be my time to rewatch films that I haven't been able to get to watch this year.
Okay. Well, that's a good goal. That means he wants to come up.
I'm going to try and watch Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen that one. When did that come out?
It's kind of been in a very weird place. It was at MIF. By the way, did you get to go and see anything at MIF? I know that we kind of fucked up and we kind of didn't get to do our thing.
Nah, I was not. I mean, I'm still not into going into a closed room with recirculated air with a bunch of people for a couple of hours. It's not my idea of a fun time.
So it was kind of interesting. And look, you say what you want about it, but I remember Palace posted a thing on their website, which they were saying that it was actually very safe to go into cinema, and that they had posted a German study.
No.
No.
Short answer: no.
No.
No. It's That's kind of like
No, no, that's totally fine.
the the butcher saying he's very friendly towards lambs. It's just like maybe he is, but maybe it's in his interest to make the lambs think he's a friendly guy.
Ooh. So he's coercing. He's grooming.
Yeah. Yes.
He's
No, that was
grooming. He's grooming the sheep for a slaughter.
yes, and the cinemas were grooming people to get COVID. So I should say that because I actually really like the Palace Cinema chain. But Heine, you gotta go eggnog. Yeah, eggnog and brandy, man. And you go the whole town. Look up recipes online because you can really up it. Like get a base eggnog from the supermarket. I know, and I get all these people I know who are very into cocktails and they poo-poo anything from the supermarket and they come up with these really elaborate recipes to make their own, which do admittedly sound fantastic. But I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it, man. I'm getting the stuff in the carton from the supermarket and then I'm going to mix it with brandy or rum or something and then maybe grate some fresh nutmeg over the top. And that's my Christmas drink.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. Because I watch a lot of Christmas movies, but I watch a lot of like weird art house cinema.
Oh yeah. That's a good mix. Christmas movies and weird art house.
Yeah.
Don't think I even online. I don't. Oh, okay. Over Halloween, what I decided I tried to watch the new Hellraiser, and it's.
I tried to watch that as well, and I fell asleep. I couldn't.
It didn't hold my interest. It didn't hold. My interest. It wasn't. I don't think it was terrible. It just didn't hold my. I stayed to finally see the Cenobites, and the design was very nice. They looked pretty cool and creepy and whatnot, and that's always. I've never actually liked a Hellraiser movie. I like the Cenobites as a concept. I like the way they look.
I think the original is so camp.
Oh yeah, no, it's camp AF. Yeah. Hellion, hello, Kirsten. Heidi, no. Your brandy is definitely for drunkards. It's not for cooking. The Napoleon's a thoroughly decent brandy. Like I said, I've had it before. Yeah, look up some brandy cocktails online. Oh, Kirsten, I want to ask you actually, because I'd got the emails and actually seen the ads for I think it's the barrel-aged honey spirit from Archie. What's that like? Because I'm thinking, basically, like is that the is that like the Eau de Vie that's been barrel aged, or is it completely different? So if I go, actually, that's the other thing I wanted to go. So I don't have a lot of bone dry left. What else was I thinking? As White Cane's still out of stock. Dang. Okay. Well, that's a blow. It's very delicious. Oh yeah, so it's the Eau de Vie that's been barreled. It sounds really good. And here's me. I'm just thinking being economical because I'm running low on the bone dry gin, so I maybe need to get some more. Well, if ordering one bottle, might as well order 2 bottles, and then maybe I don't pay shipping. And it's like it's a bargain. You'd be crazy not to. All right, okay. Wait till tomorrow. Wink, wink. Okay. Yep. So, but is the White Cane coming back? Like it's currently sold out. Was that a limited thing, or was it a surprise that it ran out and it's going to come back? not desperate for that because I have some other white rums. But I don't have any other dry gins. So, I mean, yeah, all right. So tomorrow, wink, wink, Kirsten, is there going to be an email about tomorrow? Because, I love being influenced by marketing. Keeping you up, Kyle.
Oh, sorry.
How hard are you working? You must. I feel like
No. Like, honestly, like, it's hard because I'm just like really fucking tired all the time now.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Well, I think
This is why I went to see a doctor on fucking Monday because I was.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, because last time I had to have a blood test, I think I had glandular fever, and it's just like, oh, okay, that explains the exhaustion and the sweating. Yeah.
And here's the thing: for me, it's like I might have cancer because I'm that way.
That's a cheery thought, Kyle.
I know, right?
But yeah, no, when I had the blood test, I mean, I didn't volunteer for the blood test. The GP said to get because it was hilarious to me. The reason I worked out I was sick. It was summer. This was ages ago. Lying in bed with my girlfriend, and I was bathed in sweat. And I just thought, man, that was a hot night. And she's lying next to me, not sweating, going, "Fuck is wrong with you? No, aren't you covered in sweat?" No.
No, it's always so funny to me because, like,
I should go to a doctor.
Because, like, I vape a lot when I'm at uni, like with other people's vapes, but also like, I started only recently, and I don't do a lot. Is I started smoking.
Ooh, yeah, you don't want to do that a lot.
No, I don't do it a lot.
Yeah.
I probably maybe have like 1 or 2 a week, if that.
Okay. That's
so
weird.
What do you mean?
To only have 1 or 2 a week, that's weird. People either have a couple a day or 50 a day.
Oh god, no.
One or 2 a week's a bit weird.
No, for me, it's like a real social thing. It's not like a. So I was just worried that, like, have I got cancer from like doing all that?
Well, yeah, cheery thought. I mean, for my work today, it was about some questions about risk. It was all about business continuity and whatnot, this big session I was in. And when they got to what they were calling black swan events, which is like extremely unlikely events, but events that will be devastating if they happen, like a global pandemic, like a collapse of the international banking system, both of which have happened in recent memory. And when they brought that up, I went, oh, do you want to hear our negative iron? I actually compile lists of these things that are actual, distinct, real possibilities. Oh. And they're like, what's your problem? And I go, well, we could talk about the potential for another significantly worse pandemic, an escalation of a war, whether that be in Ukraine, between China and the rest of the world, between India and Pakistan, all of which are nuclear capable. We could talk about a solar flare that could hit the Earth and wipe out the entire electricity grid and communications network.
Jesus.
Or even the fun but remote one of like an asteroid hitting us. And I particularly upset them when I said, the solar flare thing, there have been 3 recorded instances in the last 200 years. And lucky for us, they all happened at times when there was not so much of an infrastructure that could be devastated. But 3 times in the last couple of 100 years, there's been a solar flare that would absolutely fuck us if it hit today.
Oh God, yeah.
So, yeah.
Look, everything would fuck us up if everything happened today.
Yeah. So, Kirsten, that's interesting to me, Kirsten. You're saying the White Cane's rebottling. It was a surprise that it ran out. Well, it's nice to be popular, I guess. And that's, oh God, one of the other times I was talking about the Difford site recommending Archie gin for gin martini. And it's not. They do 4 pillars for gin, but they do Archie for white rum in cocktails. Maybe that was part of it. Who knows? Safa, I'm talking about solar flares happen all the time. I'm talking about a solar flare of sufficient intensity to fucking wipe out our electricity grid and our communications infrastructure. Like something that would take years to recover from. And solar flares of that intensity have definitely happened not that long ago. So that's the one, Dr. Abigail. Coronal mass ejection. Name of my heavy metal band. No, wait, that's coronal mass ejaculation. Oofed. So I am, yeah, okay, I love that. That very scientific description, Dr. Abigail. A coronal mass ejection is a solar flare on steroids. So
That sounds about right.
yeah. Oh, did I say coronial? And it's coronal. Yes, because it's from the corona, not from the coronia. See, I'm going to mutate that for my heavy metal band name. Some reference to Christopher Columbus, colonial mass ejaculation. So, yes, yeah, Justin, the coronal. God, I'm stuck with saying coronial because I'm thinking of colonial. Coronal mass ejections do happen, but yes, we haven't been hit by them. I think the last one was in the late 1800s, and it did. There was a fledgling electrical wiring infrastructure in the United States that got fried by it. Oh, my metal band, Megaleech, yes. Colonoscopy mass ejection. Actually, that's a good name for a dead metal band. Colonoscopy mass ejection. That's just that's an unfortunate mental image right there. Nettie, hello, good evening. So, Dr. Abigail, in Victoria are hardening telephone exchanges against coronal mass ejections. Yes, because it's a known risk, and it's actually, if you're doing proper risk management, okay, this is boring. This is my day job. Fuck all of you. You're going to find out about my day job now. When you're doing risk assessment, you look at two things: the likelihood of something happening, and sometimes you focus on what's the likelihood of this happening in the next year, but if you're doing a bit more long term, what's the likelihood of this happening ever, and then what would be the impact if it happens. Now, so depending how you look at it, a coronal mass ejection, what's the likelihood of it happening in the next year? Well, it's impossible to predict, but it's not a hugely high likelihood that it will happen next year. But what would be the impact if it did? It would be devastating. So if you're doing your risk assessment properly at all, you have to have a plan for what would happen if there was a devastating coronal mass ejection. Because if you look on a long enough timeline, what's the likelihood of a devastating coronal mass ejection? It's almost inevitable. It's so
Can you
close.
just write risk assessments for your job?
I sure do.
Oh
I'm the risk nerd. And I do disaster recovery planning as well. That's fun. People don't want to do it because they're busy with their day job. And they go, yeah. Well, what happens if nothing in your day job works? What are you going to do then? You're going to panic. That's what. So you need a plan for that. So let's sit down and make sure we understand what we do.
As a producer, I appreciate that because I've had to do them myself. I also absolutely hate them.
Yeah. No one likes them. Oh,
No.
Icy Saracen. I did see that. Okay, for those who know, Danny Lim, he's a sweet old guy.
I saw that today, yeah.
And the cops threw him to the fucking
ground. It's insane.
And what's worse is it's because the cops said his sign was offensive. But fuckhead cops already arrested him once for that, and it went to court, and the court found it didn't qualify as offensive. So the cops doing that were just absolute fuckheads. I know, which is weird for cops, but you know. Yeah, Nettie, it happened just today, and the cops fucking threw him to the. They'll say he was resisting, but they fucking threw this. Poor
Yeah,
old
no.
guy down.
Yeah, we've seen the vision.
It's
Come
bad. It's bad. You know what? I just thought of something I'm going to do because I wanted to try it.
on. Are you trying to force yourself to the ground, are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw myself to the ground. No, I'm also a frail old man, and I can't be doing that because I won't get up in a hurry.
But
Right, which is the right syrup? This one. Okay, I made this super yummy spiced syrup. Should go check my cocktail channel. And yes, Nettie's face bleeding, and he's tiny and ancient. And again, the fact that he'd already had cops monster him once, and it was thrown out by the courts. There's no excusing these fucking cops. Sorry, Dr. Abigail, playing a grid-based construction game, accidentally making a swastika. Hate that. No, we don't like that. Justin, well, yeah, there is the other thing. Without any atmosphere at all, I think humans would get fried by a coronal mass ejection on the moon. Icy Saracen, I would not fucking waste a moment of my time even considering the existence of that fuckwit. Just no. When people are worthless fucking shit-eating scum, I pay no attention to anything they say or do. I'm getting my jigger. Where's my jigger at? So yes, you should go and check out my cocktail channel because I made this incredibly yummy spiced syrup, and then I made a mulled drink with it. Yeah, no, Nettie, I get you were saying that was Danny might have a broken cheekbone. Those fucking cops, man. So I did like whiskey and this syrup and hot water to make a mulled drink, and it was fucking awesome. But now I'm just going to make an old fashioned with it because I think this will be super good in an old fashioned. A little bit of that in there. There we go. Oh man, that is so yummy. Ooh, and it's just got a, because I put cinnamon in it, it's just got a little bit of cinnamon burn. It's really yummy. Oh, Heine, wordplay. I love it. A corona mass ejection is when the engine finally falls out of your crappy Toyota. I love the wordplay. That's excellent. Squeaky cork. My whiskey, which is in a weird bottle for whiskey because it looks like a wine bottle, but is actually a really tasty whiskey that I got really cheap for a Dan Murphy's.
You get everything cheap at Dan Murphy's.
But no, this is really cheap because occasionally different Dan stores, they decide they're not getting any more of a particular product in their shop and they've got a few bottles of it left. And so they like put it in like a shopping trolley at the front thing and they mark it down by like 40% or more. And this, because some Dans still sell this and it's $150. And I got it for $90 just on spec. I was really dubious because this ridiculous bottle. That's a ridiculous bottle for whiskey. It's like a wine bottle.
Yeah.
But it's actually really good. If I'd have known how good it was, I would have got more than one bottle because it was so cheap. But it's say la vie. So now I make a purpose of if I'm ever traveling around suburbs for whatever reason, and there are various reasons I do from time to time. When I finish what I'm doing, I just get like a map app and just go Dan Murphy's near me. Check out Dan Murphy's that are in a suburb I don't normally go to, just in case they have outrageous specials on. So we've got another bit of wordplay. Dr. Abigail, Bologna mass ejection, a meat-based apocalypse. Well, yes. How is it like, the original Bologna, which is a serious sausage in Italy, in the US became bologna, which is gross processed meat. It's like the American version of Devon, which is just dodgy as hell. The bits they sweep up off the floor at the slaughterhouse that they then put through a blender and press into a shape. Ew. Oh, there's an annoying little moth here. Oh, I should get my fucking salt gun. I have to admit, had left a door open for a while recently with the rain, and quite a few mosquitoes got on, and I'm really not cool with mosquitoes at the moment because of all the stories about the various illnesses they're transmitting. And so I went on a hunt with my salt gun and got, I don't know, about 10 of them. It was hella fun, just chasing them around the house, going crack, shooting them with salt.
What happens when you shoot them with salt?
It kills them because they're not very strong, and it fires with quite a bit of. Because I tested it, I shot it like into my arm, see, and it stings. It's like a shotgun, but it fires grains of salt rather than anything else, and it uses air pressure. So, in other words, the pressure disperses very quickly. But if you can catch them on a wall or a ceiling and shoot them from not far away, it's enough force to kill them. Or at least the first one stuns them, and then when they're on the ground, you shoot them. You double tap. Anyone who's watched a zombie movie, you got to do the double tap. So it was actually quite a bit of fun chasing these flying beasts around the house. Oh my God, that's fucking good. Well, Dr. Abigail, with the wordplay again, you didn't assault them, did you? It's a toy. It's actually called the Bug Assault. Look, I'm going to get it out. So, yes, it's got a warning. Do not shoot face or eyes, which is a good warning because you could definitely, if not blind someone, very much harm their eyes. And it would sting if you got shot in the face. So you got this little reservoir on top that you put salt in, and then it's just a little bit of compressed air, and you fire salt. So if I see that fucking moth again, I'm gonna lay out some salt justice. Yes, Nettie was influenced by me during lockdown to get one of these as well. It's got to be fine salt, Dr. Abigail. So because I'm a fancy bug killer, this is actually pink Himalayan salt in it at the moment.
Oh shit!
It was just the salt I had when I was loading it up. But yeah, you want a very fine grain salt in it. I know in the guide for it, they said do not put dirt in this. People get compelled to try putting dirt in because they think they'll be more effective. It's too coarse and it'll fuck up the mechanism and your warranty doesn't go. Okay, I feel like Dr. Abigail was seeing me on Twitter today. I was having one of my occasional rants about bad use of language, and I hate it when people say you can't make this stuff up because that's stupid, lazy use of language. Because of course you can make it up. You can make up anything you fucking want. If an actual event that happens feels to you like something you can't make up, then you're not very fucking imaginative. Yes, Nettie, I would agree. Getting shot at close range on your body anywhere is going to hurt. As I said, I did actually test it on myself. I said, how much does it hurt? Bang. Ow, it hurts. Okay, sure. Like it didn't leave a mark, but it was stingy. It was stingy. Typical. I got my gun ready. And the fucking phone. Okay, so my theory is correct. My theory was my spiced apple syrup would make a fucking killer old fashioned, and it really does. Nettie, I guessed it was one of the kids who shot you. So does Musk has bad use of language? Not that I've noticed. What I've noticed is Elon Musk is extremely sad and pathetic and needy, and he desperately wants people to like him, and he desperately wants famous and funny people to think he's funny, and
Can
it's
I just,
really embarrassing.
Like, on Elon, why doesn't he just go to space? Like, he owns a space company.
Because it would suck. And that's the thing. People thinking like, oh, the whole Mars thing's going to happen. And people saying like, oh, the billionaires aren't going to fix climate change. They're going to leave Earth. No, they're not. Because space travel for the foreseeable future, certainly minimum for a century into the future, is going to fucking suck. It will be nothing but hardship, risk, and very austere living. Absolutely the opposite of what any of these billionaire fucks want to do. They just get this ego thing of firing shit up into near Earth orbit. They are absolutely not going to the moon or Mars because it's going to fucking suck. But no, I just think it's funny and embarrassing to watch Elon Musk flailing about at the moment, and particularly his desperate need for affirmation from famous and or funny people. It's pathetic. It is really embarrassing.
It's weird.
So Shields deleted Twitter. Fair call. Nettie, you publicly admonish yourself for going to Twitter. I'm on Twitter all the motherfucking time. It's I'm shameless about it. But yes, Elon Musk is getting more desperate and more needy, and it's freaky. It's this weird, it's a Venn diagram. It's a crossover between funny and embarrassing. It's like it's like cringing at how pathetic he's being and finding it funny at the same time.
He's like, I want to throw out, let me throw in the kitchen sink. And I'm like,
I know.
No, is that funny?
He's so desperate for people to think he's funny. He's so desperate to have famous people like him. And it's just like, you're a fucking tool. You are a fucking tool, mate. Safa, do rich people become needy? Not that I notice. I have not noticed anyone being as desperate as Musk. I mean, Trump, I guess. Except Trump is so cruel and brutal. Trump's been humiliating Musk because Musk is going, I'm going to let Trump back on Twitter. And then Trump goes, I don't want to. Twitter's dumb. It's just like Musk doesn't really have that innate cruelty that Trump has, which is very fucking funny. Oh, Mimsy wants to come in. Can you open that on yourself? Do I have to? She's banging on the sliding door. Okay, I'm gonna open it. I'm sick of the noise. Come, Mimsy. Here you come. Say hello to everyone. Mimsy's like that guy in the Holy Grail in the Bring Out Your Dead scene, just going, I'm not dead yet. All right, you're not fooling anyone. Nettie, that's a bit grandiose. Twitter was for emergency messages. No. I personally, for me, Twitter has always just been about gossip. And in fact, I joined Twitter fairly early and didn't use it. But the reason I joined it, I was in the US for a YouTube event, and I hadn't at that point paid any attention to Twitter. But everyone at this event was using Twitter to communicate. It was like, I'm at X, where are you? And I was absolutely fascinated. They were all using
Oh,
it to communicate.
it was really interesting because, so my family and I were on the way. This is going to be a bit of a blast from the past. But we were all heading to one of the opening days of Wet and Wild Sydney, right?
Yep.
And I was just like, of course, this is like the opening weekend, so everyone's talking about it. Everyone's on Twitter. Everyone's sort of engaging with it. And
See, she's coming up to say, I'm not dead yet. She's not very well, though, are you?
And they were talking about the fact that like there was a whole thing happening on Twitter. There was like lots of people, lots of insanity. You couldn't really get in. So I tweeted somebody. So we were talking, and then I tweeted somebody who was in the line, and I said, "Oh my God, how is it? We're coming there." And they tweeted back to me and said, "Go home. They're closing up shop." So I'm telling my parents in the car, and I'm saying, I've just gotten this tweet from somebody who is literally saying they're not letting anyone else in. We've got to go home. And then they went, sucks. So like, it's, Twitter is a really good platform for like, getting in little bits of information, finding
Certainly
out where
has
people
been.
are.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I just worry about, Elon trying to take it over and it being like this. Because I also I knew that there were problems with it, but the problems weren't like, it's a private company who is doing whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
And if they didn't like it, people can go off and create their own thing.
Yeah. He's flailing quite a bit. He's increasingly obviously out of his depth. But it's just a question of how big a disaster it is for him ultimately. But yeah, when I got exposed to Twitter, it was certainly in the first year. I think it was in the first couple months of Twitter existing, because I'd been ignoring it, and then everyone was using it to communicate. So I got home and signed up for it, and then I think I didn't use it for ages, and but then I eventually became addicted to it. So I'm on Twitter all the goddamn time. Apparently, I've been looking at what people do, and a lot of people are apparently doing a lot of their social media communication on Instagram. I've never used Instagram for that. I've literally just, posted photos and said, here's the photo. But I'm increasingly seeing people say they think the interaction on Instagram is pretty good. And I'm kind of fascinated by that.
Well, a lot of it takes place through either one of two ways, in the comment section, and you can just reply to people.
Yeah.
And I actually think it's really good because you're replying and you're making a thread out of that comment.
Yeah.
The other way of doing it is through a direct message, which is really great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't use Instagram for communication at all. But I'm so increasingly seeing people mention, I'm thinking, oh God, maybe I have to fucking put some effort into Instagram, because I've never put any effort into Instagram. Yeah. I don't know. Why are you staring at the fridge, Mimsy? Yes. Ugh. She's so bony. But the vet says the hypothyroidism medication is helping at least a bit. But then it's just highlighting all the other things poor Mimsy's got wrong with her. Notably, she's very, very old. She's at least 17 calendar years old. And with all the things, it's like, in terms of health, she's like an 80-year-old human with arthritis, dementia, and incontinence. So,
Jesus.
No, she has a lot of health issues, and she's very old. Not very many cats live as long as her. and it's starting to show. She's gotten so skinny, and she's so, and she definitely has dementia. You see her wandering around like she's not sure what's happening around her. Looks very confused. But you can wait there. I'll go to bed. Well, not that soon, but half an hour or so. She likes to sleep next to me, or if I'm lying on my back between my legs, I've got to sleep spread eagled so she can sort of sleep between my legs, because I don't want her to sleep on me. Occasionally I'll wake up and she's actually on my chest, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Get off me. But because I still use the old CPAP machine to keep me breathing during the night and not snoring. Oh, and here's because you see, I have an app for my sleeping. Tells me how well I used my CPAP machine, and so I have gamified my sleep. I get a score every day. Top score is up to 100, and I've never had a perfect month, but we are currently the 21st, so 3 weeks in, and I've got 100 every night this month. I've never had a streak that long before. And so I'm like, oh, I'm only 9 days away from the first perfect 100 month. So I try not to stress about it, because then I won't sleep properly, because I'm going, am I sleeping well? Will I get a good score for my sleep? Which is ridiculous. So actually, I don't know, what was my score for
I just realized I muted myself because I'm such a loud piper and I'm typing an email to somebody.
Oh my God, I just realized. Oh no. Oh, the 27th, that's a bummer. The 27th of October, I got 99 out of 100. I thought I'd had 100 right back to the 22nd, which would have been an entire month of 100s, but no, because the 27th was a 99. Gosh. So this is how exciting my life is. I'm looking forward to my sleep being scored, and I want a perfect month. Safa, Mimsy loves Mrs. Angry, aka Food Lady. But Mrs. Angry may be a bit less agreeable to Mimsy sleeping near her or on her, so she knows she can sleep near me, and I'm far less likely to turf her off. So, my God, okay, so that old-fashioned was so yummy. It's a major temptation to have another one. I don't want to have another one. Where's my glass? I thought I brought my glass in here so I could have some water. I should have a little bit of water before bedtime. Oh my God, that's so good. Safa, okay. As I've mentioned many times on the stream, Shadow's fucking weird. She never comes on the stream. Shadow sleeps on our bed during the day when we're not there. And then she sometimes, if I'm sitting on the lounge watching TV with Mrs. Angry, she'll come and jump on my lap and be very demanding, want to be patted and rubbed, but won't settle down. Whereas Mimsy just settles down. But no, Shadow, as a rule, doesn't sleep on the bed while we're in there. She is a fucking weirdo who, when she's not demanding to be patted and whatnot, she acts like we're going to murder her. Like, we've had her more than 10 years. But it's just like she'll just do this erratic thing where it's like she'll panic and run away when you go near her and go, yeah, no, you've lived comfortably among us for more than a decade, but today's probably the day I'm going to murder you. So you're absolutely right to run away. I'm just going to go and get my drinking water glass to just to have a little bit of water. So I'll leave you with the quiet Mimsy and Kyle. I just got to go in the next room.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, look after things, Kyle.
Angry's so good at this. This is why I would never be a streamer, because I would not know what the fuck to talk about. Hello everybody. We're going to ask some questions in the chat. I'm very tired.
Oh God! I talked up the old-fashioned, and now Mrs. Angry wants one. So
Oh no!
I got to quickly make one. Oh, you've turned around to face people and say hello. That's nice, Mimsy, rather than pointing your bum at them. So, yes, the running joke that Shadow. So I did actually share. Well, Mimsy signed up on my Discord, and so I had from Mimsy's account a photo of her and Shadow together. And what I didn't even realize till Megaleech pointed it out, it's going like, oh, that's just, you've done like in Photoshop, you've reflected and color changed it. Because the two cats were sitting back to back and they kind of look like reflections of each other. Mimsy ginger and Shadow with a blue-gray coloring. And it honestly does look like I photoshopped it.
Hey, I've got to head off, Andrew, because I've just got to do some stuff. But I will thank you so much for letting me in.
That's okay. Thanks for dropping in and saying hi.
All right.
And I hope your blood test just says there's nothing wrong. So
actually, no, I hope it does, because then I know what it is.
Oh, you want to know? Okay. Well, I hope it tells you something manageable. That's what I.
Yes, yes. I agree.
Yeah, say, okay, this explains why you've been feeling funny. Here's a simple management plan.
Love that. All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye. All right. Just me and Mimsy now. And Mimsy's not all that talkative. All right. Do. Yeah, Shieldsy, Mimsy would have been on the old blog TVs. Like I said, we've had her for 17 years. All right, I'm going to go a bit light on the old-fashioned for Mrs. Angry. Some beaters. Sava, I don't think you're going to get Aidsy to appear, even though him being a demonic force saying his name 3 times sometimes make that happen. He's not been particularly great of late. All right, I'm going to give Mrs. Angry some orange peel in her drink. Oh, I love the smell of orange oil, honestly. And I'll give her a cherry too, because I'm generous like that. So I want a skewer. I just realized with me randomly, nonsensically singing individual sentences, a bit like the who is it in Big Mouth? The ghost of a classic American black musician. And God, I'm blanking. Jordan Peele does the voice for it. Lives in one of the main characters' attic. Oh, yeah, Shields, that's right. I used to drink heaps of Pepsi Max on those streams. And there was the joke that I'd emptied a bottle, which made me desperate to piss. And so I'd piss in the bottle off camera. Duke Wellington. Ellington? Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington. Thank you, Dr. Abigail. I'm just going to give this to Mrs. Angry. right, Mimsy, have you been looking after things? You got everything under control? Yes? Good cat? Good cat. All right. Mimsy's been looking after them. Yes, the jazz guy from the Big Mouth show. That's who I was talking about. Yeah, Mimsy's a little bit sleepy. We always joke she does that thing that cats do sometimes when she's sitting up and she's bordering on falling asleep and the head nods a bit just to, and I say, oh, she's listening to her music. It's like she's bopping along to music that only she can hear. Yes, you're a bit old and sleepy, aren't you, Mimsy? Yes. We don't know how long you're going to last. We try not to get depressed. Ugh. You're in your 20s in the blog TV days. Oh, Christ, it fucking ages me sometimes when someone who's now 30 or older tells me they were watching me when they were in high school. And I'm like, no. Oh, my God. When she's not making obnoxious noises, getting under your feet, or shitting or vomiting somewhere in the house, she's quite cute. Aren't you? Silly bloody cat. Mm. Ooh, I just thought this for no reason in particular. One of my favorite bars, Bar Americano, mentioned before, is closing because the new landlord's a dick. They're going to be closed forever in a couple of weeks. What is the walk-in menu? It's on there now. Oh my God, he's doing the hot cold pina colada. Fucking hell. I have to go and see if they've got that. Shit, that was fucking amazing. God damn it. I have to go. All right, I might be going into the city on Thursday. So, quick look. Do they have any indoor? No, they don't on Thursday. They do next Monday. I got one spot left at 5 p.m. on Friday. Gosh darn it. Oof, don't know if I'll get there. Yes, yeah. Well, Mimsy was more than a year old, possibly as old as 18 months old when we got her. But Shadow was definitely a kid, and she was very cute. Oh, Strictly Sega, by the way, thank you so much for motivating me to do a Thanksgiving drink video. It did go live today. This is the syrup I made. So the steps, and this is so good, I'm going to make a fuck ton more of it. It's basically the steps to making that. Chop up an apple, thin slices, cover it in brown sugar. The trick is twice its weight in sugar. After a day, the sugar leaches like juice out of the apple slices and liquefies. So then I toasted some cooking spices. So it's like cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves and cardamom, star anise. So basically I broke them up and put them in a saucepan and cooked them a little bit. When all the aroma's coming off, then I added the apple and syrup to that. and then simmered that. I added a little bit of water as well, but then simmered that so all the flavor went all the way through, and then strained it all out. So I got this syrup, which is just friggin' amazing. And so the drink I made was 60 mils of the syrup, 60 mils of whiskey in a glass with a handle, and then just topped it with hot water and put one of the slices of apple in. Fuck me, it was so good. And just now I just made an old fashioned with it, just the whiskey, about 10 mils of that and some bitters, and it's fucking Strixhaven, it's a little involved. It's easy, but a little bit involved. Like you have to prepare the syrup a day ahead of when you want to use it. But yeah, the video I put up for the Thanksgiving video was the hot one. I called it mulled bourbon apple pie, because that with the apple, brown sugar, and cooking spices, that's a real sort of apple pie flavor in the syrup. But yeah, the whiskey, syrup, and hot water, oh, so fucking good. Yeah, just now I just made a simple old fashioned whiskey, syrup, and bitters. Fucking fantastic. So yeah, you actually motivated me to do it. I had been planning it, and like I went to make, I think I told the story, I fucked up. I was making the syrup and I had it on the stove, and then I forgot and went and watched some TV, and it sat on the stove for an hour or two and burned and turned into this lava. And so I fucked it up and I was really frustrated. But then you motivated me to do it again, and I got it done just in time. Went live today, and it's people love the sound of it. I got very positive responses on YouTube from it. But yeah, just being Mrs. Angry drinking it, really fucking good. It's a really good drink, and that's a really good syrup. Like, it's one of those things. Like I've learned enough about mixing drinks and making syrups that I can be reasonably sure when something's going to taste yummy, but to actually be vindicated to do something that is essentially an experiment and have it pay off and just be like not okay, it's fucking fantastic. It was like, oof, that's good. I feel very good about that. So yeah, so I'm probably going to make more of this. In fact, there's some, like I just got it was just a Pink Lady apple from Woolies, but yeah, like a suburb or two away, there's some specialty fruit shops that have some very interesting fruits, and they have some more unusual apple variations. So I think I'm going to go there and find a somewhat different apple with an interesting flavor and get a couple of them and make an even bigger batch of this syrup, because it's fucking awesome. Actually, I think this would probably just be good on ice cream, and I think it would be really good on pancakes. So for is fruit expensive? Yeah, probably. I haven't looked recently. I don't buy lots of fruit. I tend to buy individual things, but what was it? So like this orange was like $1. I think the apple was like 80 cents or something. 80 or 90 cents. Yeah, just fucking shit's expensive, man. And I'm doing okay. So people who are struggling financially, it's like freaking shit. But yes, I'm probably going to go to one of these specialty fruit shops and try and find slightly more. You'll keep. You'll keep. Yeah. Also, I like giving money to independent operators more than big corporate supermarkets. So Yeah, I don't know. The apple and the orange were both somewhere in the region of $1. They were between 80 cents and $1. I'm just going to put a little bit more ice in there. A little bit more ice. Have a little bit more water. Oh God, I really have to take this apart. It's absolutely fucked. Oh God, I'm going to spill so much water. I'm going to probably do it tomorrow. I spill so much water. Oh God damn. Just noticed my barrel's got a little drip forming off the top. It's probably really syrupy. Oh, it is. It's really syrupy. Tastes nice because it's very syrupy, very concentrated, just being... Yum. It's actually really good. Yes, Safa, I completely understand there's not many independent grocers in the bush. But yeah, we do get independent fruit shops here, and I'd like to go to them. I just realized when I tasted the other things the other night, I didn't taste the whiskey I'm aging. I need to taste it. All right. Just a little taste. Oh. Is that it? No, nothing's like there. It's a bit sticky there. All right. This is my whiskey, aka New Make Spirit. Ooh, that was an interesting noise. Oh, a bit of wood came out. Fair enough. See if I can put this back without any drama. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Bit of wood charcoal. Come on. Is there even more in there? All right. Gonna take it. Yes, this is pirate whiskey, Safa, just out of my barrel. Huh. It just kind of smells like ethanol, quite honestly. Slight sort of honey taste. Mostly just smells like ethanol. Ooh. Ooh, that's kind of warm. I'm going to put a little bit of ice in it, see what difference that makes. Ah, Safi, catching up on the Doctor Who specials. Watch the pirate one was okay. That's the one with the sea devils in it. That was okay. The last one's pretty good. Then, I don't know, sometime next year we get another episode, anniversary episode. And then either late next year or possibly I think late next year we get Ncuti as the Doctor. Look at me being trendy. I looked up how to pronounce his name because his name looks like Ncuti, and you pronounce it Ncuti. I looked that up because I'm hip. How's this with a bit of water in it? What does that taste like? It's sweet. It's a little bit sharp. Yes. I know you were very much here for the Doctor and Yaz. Sadly, not to be, only to be hinted at. Well, actually, it wasn't even hinted at. Yaz was extremely explicit about being infatuated with the Doctor in a sexual way. It tastes very bourbony to me, actually, which is weird because bourbon is aged in new oak. I mean, that's got something. I'm still leaving it for a while. At this point, my thinking is that's Christmas whiskey. So I'm probably not gonna taste it again for a couple of weeks. It's just fine. I don't know if it's going to be any different. But all things being equal, I might taste it halfway through December. And if by some weird chance it tastes perfect, then I'll decant it. Otherwise, I'll try it again at Christmas. And unless it's sort of getting different, unless I have some weird feeling that's going to get better, that's when I'll decant it. Because that'll be about 4 months in the barrel. From new make spirit to the angry whiskey. What is it's almost sleepy bobos. Can eat my cherry. I love eating cherries. Yeah. Oh my god, that's so good. Oh yes, Safa, the Sea Devils. They were in the John Pertwee era. He also had the Silurians. The Silurians and Sea Devils are kind of related. I did quite like what they did with the Silurians when they brought them back, in that they're not evil. They're just a different race, and they'd hibernated underground for a long time, and they thought the humans were interlopers. Safa, I usually get my cherries from the Bitters Lab, which is over in Dr. Abigail's part of the world. Actually, it can be quite hard to get these. These are numero uno. These fucking kick ass. Luxardo maraschino cherries. They're not independent. They're a big international conglomerate. But I tend to get it from the Bitters Lab in Fitzroy. Lovely little shop. I've got a bunch of bitters from there. Got a bunch of my glassware from there. And I occasionally get spirits from there because they have a small but interesting selection. So that's the whole thing. So yeah, I kind of sort of get them independent because I don't think Dan Murphy's sell them even. I think Dan Murphy's has sold them in the past, but I have of late had trouble getting them from Dan Murphy's. It's very weird. Safa, Hale, interesting you should ask. When I was in the office yesterday, Mrs. Angry was at home, and she informed me it did in fact hail in the afternoon, sort of early mid-afternoon, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Is that for real, Dr. Abigail? Are you going to move? That would be a huge event for you. What am I watching on the TV box? Well, what did we see? We finished The Crown and quite enjoyed it. Still watching. There's one more episode of Andor on Disney. Final episode this week. Because we're looking for something new. We started watching half-hour comedy series on Foxtel, an Australian thing called Upright. It's got Tim Minchin in the lead, and also the young woman in the lead, co-lead. She was the young Targaryen for the first few episodes of the Game of Thrones spin-off House of the Dragon. But yes, we just started watching that Upright, and it's pretty good. All right, so you're going to move somewhere near Flemington, North Melbourne. Big decision. All right, excellent. I hope that works for you. Oh, you did actually message me on Discord. I don't always pay attention to Discord. No, I'm going to pay attention on Discord. Oh yeah, okay, yep. No, that sounds good. Going to the Flemington, North Melbourne area. Actually, what did I see that was there recently? Oh, see, you'll never believe it. It involved a distillery that I wanted to go to a thing. So yeah, okay, cool. So when you move to that area, Dr. Abigail, well, I'll be happy to help you move, but also I'll tell you about the distillery there. So that's something to look forward to. That's your new home. Excellent. Oofed. Yes, I keep getting because it's like you click on one thing about a distillery and then you get lots of things, particularly on Facebook. But because it's actually that one I invested in, Bakery Hill, that I've mentioned before. 11 years. Still, it's going to be fun to move to a new area. Bakery Hill have an event in that area. And so there's lots. Oh God, what else is there? There's something else there. I will remember it, Dr. Abigail, but yes, you moving there will be an excuse to check a few purveyors of beverages, which is always a good thing. All righty. Okay, it's actually, look, it's slightly before 10, but I feel like I'm running out of steam. So I'm going to go to bed. And yes, tomorrow night, I'm going to watch some more of Upright, I think, because they just put a new season on Foxtel, and we just started watching the first season, so we've got 2 seasons to watch. I mean, on my own time, I just finished watching the new season of the animated thing Big Mouth, which I find quite humorous. Mrs. Angry doesn't watch that. I do. I think it's funny. But yes, in all probability, I will be here on Thursday. And in fact, it might be a whole thing, Thursday. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen on Friday, but Saturday, look, election night stream, I will absolutely be here. Hopefully to be laughing and celebrating. My dream is to be celebrating a humiliation of the Victorian LNP because they fucking suck. But we'll see. It's a weird, volatile thing. Anyone who thinks they know for sure what's going to happen, we do. And yeah, absolute. Yeah, Dr. Abigail, Saturday night is election night stream. So Saturday night, I'll probably start earlier because so voting closes at 6. And I think I did this last election. I started at 7 because if there is a very conclusive vote by 8 o'clock, it might be all over bar the shouting. So I want there to be at least some drama. So I'll probably start the Saturday night stream at about 7, just so I don't get preempted. I think I would love to, but I think I've actually already made plans for doing stuff with Mrs. Angry on Saturday night. She won't be on the stream, but we were doing stuff. So I will be here on Saturday night. Yes, so I say last time it was all but finished at 8 p.m. and it could easily be the case this time too, but maybe not. But who knows? So I'll probably start the Saturday night stream at about 7. We shall see, and we shall see where the night takes us. Yes, so that's vaguely the plan for the rest of the week. Probably on streams Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday. But yes, definitely an election night stream. Hopefully, and yes, Dr. Abigail will chat on Discord, and hopefully I'll be celebrating. If I'm celebrating on Saturday night, it is not so much celebrating a Labor win. What I want to celebrate is a humiliation of the Victorian LNP because they fucking suck. Anyway, good night. Thank you all, one and all. I'm going to go and say bye-bye now and see you another time.